Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a video that I've really been wanting to do for a really long time, and that is my top 5 K-pop biases. So I'm just going to get straight into it and say that my absolute first K-pop bias out of all the K-pop groups ever is Shinwoo from B1A4. Just absolutely, without a doubt, absolutely Shinwoo. Now, if you have seen my video from my B1A4 fan account of their road trip in Melbourne, you will know exactly what happened with me and Shinwoo. We shared a couple of moments together and it was just the most amazing night of my life. But even before the concert, Shinwoo was just my favourite. I really like the quiet kind of manly kind of the type. So he's always kind of caught my eye. He's always just been there. And I've always got his photo cards in my albums, so every single B1A4 album I've ever had, I've had Shinwoo. I have never had anybody else's photo card, just Shinwoo. So in some ways I feel like we were just destined, and that night just proved it. Like, he was so lovely to me at the concert, and you know, picking me to take a photo together. So in some ways Shinwoo has now absolutely been cemented as my #1 K-pop bias. I mean, he was before, but now he's just been like cemented. Like, he's never moving from that #1 spot, just never. So my second bias in K-pop would absolutely have to be Lay from exo-m. I think I fell in love with Lay from the moment that I saw his impression of Christina. If you haven't seen his impression of Christina, I will link it down in the description below because it's so funny. I don't understand what he's saying. I don't, but I just died. I think I saw it on Beatles Code 2. He had like a whole segment where he just did impersonations of Christina on the piano. It was really weird. But ever since then, he kind of just became my favorite. And he's always just a little bit weird. He's just a little bit weird. He's always just so sarcastic and scrumpy, and I feel like he's just me. He's just me. If I was gonna be a K-pop star, I'd probably be like Lay. It's so funny. If you see his funny cuts from Showtime, you just see his sarcastic personality kind of just shine through. In some ways I kind of wish he was a bit more lively, just so we could find out more about him, but I think that's just his personality and just the way he is. But he's absolutely my favourite bias in EXO. And my third bias in K-pop is absolutely Rap Monster from BTS. Now, this has been a very recent one. I would say at first, you know, seeing BTS, I would have said that my bias was Jin. Now, I do love Jin, and Jin is just great. He's just the mother hen of the group, and he's just so lovely. But then I kind of started paying more attention to his rapping verses in the songs, particularly during the cypher songs on their albums. If you have listened to their albums, Cypher Part 2 is one of my favourite cypher tracks. I've never really been a rap fan or a hip-hop fan in general, and then Rap Monster comes along, and all of a sudden I just find myself being inspired to listen to rap, being inspired to find out more about rap, to find out more about what it's about, you know, more about his story. I honestly feel like he is one of the only K-pop artists that have actually influenced me as a musician. I've honestly considered throwing some rap verses into some of my songs lately, which has been, you know, really cool. And he's honestly just so talented. I mean, to teach yourself to speak English is amazing. It's something that I've never seen from a K-pop idol before. He's so talented. He's got such determination. I do know that there is a documentary about Rapmon, and he kind of does speak about, you know, how he got started with rapping. Now, I haven't watched or heard much about the story, but I did watch a video of his on YouTube. It was an all-English vlog, and he talked about his struggles when he came into BTS. If you haven't heard the story, the record label wanted him to be a rapper, and they told him that he didn't have to learn how to dance because he wasn't, you know, as he says, you know, he's a rap monster, not a dance monster. And then he got placed into BTS and he had to learn to dance, and he really struggled with it for a long time, and he persevered with it, and you can just see him improving just so much. So I think that perseverance and that dedication to his music is one of my things that I absolutely just love about him. My fourth K-pop bias would have to be Tao from exo-m again. Just from the beginning, back in the This Is Love days, or is it This Is Love? What Is Love? Their first teaser single. There was this person doing martial arts and I was like, wow, he's really cool. He's really, really cool. Like, I really enjoy him. And then, you know, I kind of stopped following EXO for a little bit, and Growl came out, and I saw Tao, and I was just like, wow, like he is amazing. And then I started to find more about his personality, and I kind of discovered that he has this really manly martial arts kind of exterior. And then you find out more about his personality, and you find out that he gets scared by bugs and cries on reality shows and needs to have somebody standing outside the door when he is in the bathroom. He's a walking contradiction, to be honest, which is kind of what I love about him. He looks so manly and so tough, and you just think he has this cold and kind of emotionless look and really tough bad boy kind of look about him. And then you kind of get to know him, and he just seems like such a sweetie. I love Tao. I love his scene in Showtime where they're at the tower, and he gets distracted by, you know, the really pretty views from the tower and starts skipping over there to take photos. Like, he's so tough and just adorable at the same time. So he's absolutely has to be a part of my top bias list. And then my fifth bias in K-pop would have to be Infinite's Sungyeol. He really caught my eye during the high school love-on drama. Now, I haven't finished it, so I'm actually not sure what the ending is or what happens to his character, but he just really caught my eye. And at the time of watching it, I was really getting into Infinite, so I didn't really have a bias in Infinite yet, and then he kind of just jumped out at me. And then I looked at his funny videos on YouTube, and it was mostly just 7 minutes of him screaming. So I was like, okay, I have to make you my favorite because you're so strange. And he's just so funny, and he's perfect. I love him. I'm gonna link some of these compilation videos down in the description box below, so you can kind of see the moment where I decided, you know, my biases. Maybe these videos will kind of ruin your bias list as well, like they did with mine. We can all cry over our broken bias list together. So that's about it for my top 5 male biases in K-pop. I'll be following this up with a top 5 female biases very shortly, so if you want to see that video, please don't forget to comment, rate and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye! Here's my favourite photo in this entire album. Look at Sehun. Like, oh my god.